Ready for the challenge?
Bet you can't solve these.
What was the shocking, record-high temperature recently recorded in Antarctica? The record was 18.3 degrees Celsius. That's warmer than a spring day in many places. A monster rogue wave set a record in 2020. How tall was this wall of water? Comment your guess below. It was 17.6 meters high. That's like a 4-story building suddenly appearing in the ocean. What's the mind-blowing world record for the longest lightning flash? Believe it or not, it lasted for 17.1 seconds. That single flash traveled for hundreds of miles. A mega lightning bolt in 2020 set a record for distance. How far did it stretch? It was 477 miles long. That's further than the distance from Paris to Berlin. The eruption of the Hunga Tonga volcano in 2022 was huge. How high did its ash plume reach? The plume shot 57 kilometers up. That's high enough to reach the mesosphere, the third layer of our atmosphere. In 2023, a snailfish was filmed at a new record depth. How deep in the ocean was it? It was at 8,336 meters down. The pressure there is over 800 times greater than at the surface. The Godzilla dust plume of 2020 was the largest in decades. Where did this giant dust cloud come from? It came from the Sahara Desert. It was so big, it crossed the Atlantic and darkened skies in the Americas. In 2018, a fire whirl, or firenado, in California set a record for wind speed. How powerful was it? It had winds of over 143 miles per hour. That's as strong as an EF3 tornado on the Fujita scale. A new record for the coldest temperature in the Northern Hemisphere was confirmed in 2020. How cold was it? The record is minus 69.6 degrees Celsius. It was measured at a remote weather station in Greenland. July 2023 set a scary new record. What was it known for? It was the hottest month ever recorded on Earth. Scientists confirmed it broke all previous global temperature records. In 2021, a giant iceberg broke off from Antarctica. What was this record-sized iceberg named? It was named A76. At the time, it was the world's largest floating iceberg, bigger than the state of Rhode Island. The 2020 Midwest derecho in the U.S. had record-breaking winds. How fast did they get? The top winds hit 140 miles per hour. A derecho is a widespread, long-lived, straight-line windstorm. A milky sea, seen from space in 2019, was the largest ever recorded. What causes this strange ocean glow? It's caused by bioluminescent bacteria. This massive bloom glowed for months and covered an area larger than California. In 2021, a European record for rainfall was set in Italy. How much rain fell in just 48 hours? An incredible 742 millimeters, or about 29 inches of rain. That's more than many cities get in a whole year. A bomb cyclone that hit California in 2023 set records for how fast it intensified. What does a bomb cyclone measure? It measures a rapid drop in atmospheric pressure. The pressure has to drop at least 24 millibars in 24 hours. California's 2020 wildfire season was the largest on record. How much area was burned? Over 4.2 million acres were burned. That's an area larger than the entire country of Kuwait. What recent record did a gray whale named Varvara set on her migration? She completed the longest migration ever recorded by a mammal. She traveled over 14,000 miles from Russia to Mexico and back. The strongest solar flare of the current solar cycle happened in late 2023. What category was this powerful blast? Sun. It was an X 2.8 class flare. X-class are the biggest and most intense types of solar flares. The atmospheric waves from the 2022 Tonga eruption were the fastest ever seen. What other natural event do they compare to? They were as fast as the waves from the famous Krakatoa eruption of 1883. It's the first time we've seen anything like it with modern instruments. A record for the world's highest red sprite lightning was set in 2022. Where do these strange flashes occur? They occur way above thunderstorms in the upper atmosphere. This record breaker was seen at an altitude of 100 kilometers. A recent study found a new record for the world's largest living thing. What is this giant organism? It's a field of seagrass in Australia. Named Poseidon's ribbonweed, it's a single plant that has cloned itself to cover 77 square miles. In 2021, a new record was set for the hottest temperature ever recorded in Canada. How hot did it get? It reached a sizzling 49.6 degrees Celsius, or 121 degrees Fahrenheit. This happened during an extreme heat dome event. A record-breaking gravity wave was detected in the atmosphere after the Tonga eruption. What shape did it make? It made concentric rings, like ripples in a pond. These rings expanded outwards for thousands of miles through the atmosphere.
Arctic sea ice reached a record low minimum extent in September of a recent year. How low did it get? In 2020, it reached the second lowest minimum ever recorded. It's a critical measure of climate health.
In 2023, the world's oceans set a new record for surface temperature. How hot did they get on average? The average global sea surface temperature hit 20.96 degrees Celsius. That's the highest in any satellite record. In 2019, a polar vortex event brought record cold to the U.S. Midwest. What strange thing did it do to Lake Michigan? It turned parts of the lake into a polar vortex of its own, with giant spinning disks of ice forming on the surface. A new world record for the highest cloud-to-ground lightning flash was set in 2023. How tall was it? High voltage. The flash originated from a cloud 20 kilometers, or 12.4 miles high. That's twice as high as commercial airplanes fly. A recent atmospheric river storm that hit California was rated a Category 5. What does this new scale measure? It measures the amount of water vapor being transported. A Cat 5 is the most intense, carrying a massive amount of moisture. What strange world record was set by the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season? It had the most named storms ever, with 30. They had to start using the Greek alphabet for names after running out of the regular list. In 2021, a new record was set for the deepest ever underwater volcanic eruption. How deep was it? It was 4,000 meters, or about 2.5 miles below the surface. It happened at the West Mata volcano near Fiji.
How many did you get right? Thanks for playing.